I am Decca. I know exactly who you are. You have a great reputation which precedes you, Adolf. I had a strange dream last night. You were in that dream, Adolf. There was also a charming young girl who spoke of you and said that I must help you. How marvelous that you're here now.
Testing, testing. Oh shoot, Mike's been muted. I'm so sorry, folks. It seems that OBS decided that something else was a microphone. So, for those who've joined us here, we are playing East 1 and 2 on the TurboGrafx 16. We have a selection of 6 racers today. We've got 4 of those 6 racers have joined us. We've got a couple of folks who were not in the previous race but have joined us. Withheld has missed the previous 2 races and is actually playing off a borrowed save file. So we may see some interesting progression here from Withheld, who has not played any of East 2 yet. So there may be some interesting confusion there as Withheld tries to understand what is going on, what this equipment is that she has. We can also see our friend Puffer King here. He has decided to go back to the little underground basement in Rance Village. We saw him come here the previous session. He's picked up that this is a very good place to gather money. These monsters drop a nice selection of money, and he can kill them very quickly. So I suspect what we're going to see here for Puffer is he's going to start off today's race by buying the best possible equipment from the shop in the new village. And he is going to enter this dungeon in the most powerful state that he can. Meanwhile, we see Nighty, Someone, and Withheld have gone ahead and they've entered the new dungeon. This is the Shrine of Solomon, and we're going to be seeing a lot of this dungeon. This is basically the final area of the game, but it is absolutely huge. We see Nighty has picked up here. In the previous scroll, the players had an opportunity to pick up a hawk statue. It's really unclear what the item does, but it seems like Nighty's figured it out. When you have the hawk statue equipped, your fireballs are going to chase enemies. Now we give the players a pay spin each week before they start. This week's pay spin, I gave them one big hint, and that is they're going to see a lot of locked doors, and they will save a lot of time if they write down where those locked doors are. This is a very easy area to get lost in. There's several significant places that they need to explore, and they will definitely benefit from a map that will show them where they've been, particularly because this shrine has 2 sections to it. In addition to the above ground section, we will find soon our players will have to also explore the underwater section of the shrine. Also meet a lot of incredibly stupid guards here who we can transform in front of and immediately trick them. Now, I had mentioned previously we were going to do this game in 4 parts. This last segment of the game is really long, and I really don't want the players fighting the final boss in a state of exhaustion after 4 hours. So I've actually cut this into 2 parts. The finale, the final bosses, will be next week. But to make it up to you folks, since we're going to be doing this a little bit slower than usual, next week we're going to have a special treat. In addition to watching the end of the East 1 and 2 race, we'll see our players defeat the final boss. We're also going to do a one-night-only race of Worm for the NES, which is sort of a vaguely action RPG style game. That if you've never seen it before, it's a lot of rapid-fire action. It's got a crazy plot, one of those lovely 1990s style plots where the manual gives you a lot of details on the story that have absolutely no impact whatsoever on how you play the game. So I hope you folks will join us for that next week, or even maybe play in the race, since that will be a fairly short goal. That game should take everybody between an hour and 2 hours to complete the full game, start to finish. But we'll see that more next week. So it looks like Puffer King here is following up a little bit behind the others. It looks like Puffer racked up a quick 40,000 gold pieces so that he could purchase better armor and weapons. So he is going to enter this new dungeon, and he is going to be pretty well equipped to deal with the monsters, which means he might be able to get onto the act of exploring faster than the others do. Since right now it looks like our other players, Propelled, Nighty, and someone, are focusing on grinding monsters right now, which is a good idea. That is going to give them a nice opportunity to pick up some more levels. Right now, Puffer King is way ahead in experience points. He has been spending a lot of time grinding monsters, and that has made things a little bit easier for him. The bosses in East 2 are significantly more difficult than the bosses in East 1, and players have picked up that if they've got an extra level or 2, that's going to increase their damage output and their defense by quite a bit. So making sure that they have those levels are going to mean that they're going to spend a lot less time throwing their face at bosses. Nighty's come across a couple of guards here, blocking doorways, and they're asking for passwords, which Nighty obviously does not know. And Nighty's making pretty good use of this homing fireball spell. The only problem with the homing fireball is if there's an enemy in front of you, it has a bad habit. Sometimes it will chase another enemy that's wandering off to the side. And that could leave you in a little bit of a lurch because you really want to focus on the guy who's about to stab you. And hopefully this week we will have better quality audio from our other racers. We spoke with Nighty. Turns out that Nighty is using a much newer version of BizHawk. A lot of us kind of have a bit of a lackadaisy, I think, where we pick up an emulator and it just works. And the emulator that was distributed with the mystery pack is a pretty archaic version of BizHawk, all things considered. So hopefully the new version of BizHawk will give us a lot better quality audio. And he walks into the room and immediately murders this man. So here someone figures out that if you transform, you can talk to these stationary guards and gets a pass. This pass is going to give him the opportunity to get into the Northern Conference rooms, which is where he will find more progression. Now, one little error I think we're seeing here from Puffer King is it looks like Puffer King did not set his game speed to fast. That would have made his grind a little bit faster, and that will make his navigation faster here. So, unfortunately, he is losing a little bit of time if he's continuing in slow mode. Now, Withheld's also got a little bit of a handicap coming from East 1 to directly to East 2. Mid-game doesn't have the insight of what happened between. Withheld might not know about the healing. That could be a little bit of a handicap because that is a very precious item that will make life much easier for our other players. See if Withheld might figure out that that's an item that does something useful. We also had a player bring up something interesting. GFM is playing in today's race. GFM was in last week's race as well. And GFM asked if they could use Turbo to shoot fireballs faster, since they felt like a bit of a chump mashing the button repeatedly to shoot fireballs. In most of these races, the answer would be no. No, Turbo is not allowed. However, this is a TurboGrafx game. TurboGrafx is a bit of a big exception. The TurboGrafx controllers did have Turbo on them by default. When you purchased a TurboGrafx system, the controllers that came with the system had Turbo capability. So for TurboGrafx races, really playing any TurboGrafx games, they're an exception where yes, in fact you can use Turbo, and that is a perfectly acceptable choice. So we might see GFM employing some interesting Turbo control strategies, which that could be of value. We could find out. See someone here solving another little tricky puzzle. Found the conference room, but it says, oh, you can't hear what's going on in there. But remembers from the previous goal that we had the earrings that allow us to hear faint sounds. So he equips the earrings, but still can't understand what the demons are saying. But by transforming into a demon, evidently you get secret ability to understand language. And gets... What is this? Someone sees the secret password N8086. And I saw something there. I think they took some screenshots of it, just in case they have to actually remember that password. Yeah, it's very interesting, especially the fact that Adol is just running around here, not secretive at all, and he's just murdering these creatures left and right. And, like, nobody thinks to say, hey, Adol's coming, maybe we should not be sharing secret passwords? So Nighty has been having some good grinding here. Nighty has racked up quite a bit of experience. Is catching up to Puffer King here in the experience chart. And he's also playing a pretty dangerous game here. His health is very low. I wonder if he has forgotten about the healing cape, or if it's possible Nighty didn't find it. We'll have to keep an eye out next time Nighty opens up his inventory to see if that little blue cape is visible or not. Oops, there's Nighty taking a death. Thankfully, he saved his game only moments prior to that, so he really didn't lose any progress. Mere seconds of progress, if any. Someone also standing here with incredibly low health. Someone not going to put on their magic cape. Yeah, Nighty's got the healing cape. Maybe he's just forgotten that it's a thing. This is one of the challenges that comes with playing a game only once a week. Lots of opportunity to forget about things from one week to the next. So right now, the progression that the players are looking for, they need to talk to the NPCs in the east side of the temple. One of the NPCs will give them a pass, and that pass will let them go from the southern part of the east temple to the northern part, where they can find the conference room. And in the conference room, they'll get the password that'll allow them to visit the west side of the palace. And then from there, they've got a couple of little puzzles that they're going to need to solve. They're going to be on the lookout. There's a couple of important items here. In particular, the west side of the temple has a magical grail that the players are going to need to find. There it is. Nighty has found the pass that is going to allow him into the conference room. And he's also got some very weak armor right now. Our players in the first goal, in the first town, they had an opportunity to purchase some armor. However, to buy the upgraded armor, they had to find iron ore and sell it to the blacksmith first. And I think Nighty did not find the iron ore, so this new town has been the first opportunity he's had to buy anything but the most basic armor. So hopefully Nighty makes it a point during this goal at some point to purchase a better suit of armor, because that will dramatically reduce how much damage he's going to take from these monsters. Getting these nice hints from the monsters. If you transform and talk to the monsters, they usually give you some useful hints. This dungeon is also a good example of the kind of confusing dungeon design where you have looping paths. A lot of games will design their dungeons so that they're simply a maze of forks, and then as long as you've taken every fork once, you know that you're good to go. This dungeon, unfortunately, has a lot of places where the paths will fork, loop around, and then come back to themselves. So it's possible to take a whole loop and then realize that, oh, well, you missed something on your way through, or don't recognize that you have returned back to a place that you've been before, mistakenly thinking it might be someplace new. So this is a fairly challenging part of the game to keep track of all the places that you visited. You see withheld picking up a pass. And getting the instructions on where to find the northern conference room. And it looks like Puffer King is just outside of the conference room. These two guards just outside of the conference room, they were one of my preferred grind points. The two guards, if you just walk left and right, they'll respawn. They're worth a pretty good chunk of experience points. And with your upgraded fireball spell, you burn through them pretty much in 2 fireballs. So they're a really good spot to gain a couple of levels and make sure that you're keeping pace. And he sees the secret password, and I bet you he's writing it down just to be absolutely certain. But, spoilers, you're not actually going to need to write that down. You'll use it automatically when the time comes. So it seems like our players are doing pretty good here. 3 of our players on the restream already have the password that will get them into the west side of the temple. So that will give them plenty of new area to explore. Picking up the Peace of Mind ring. Not quite certain what this ring does. I think it might recharge your magic points while you wear it. This game has a lot of items that leave you wondering what it is that they do, if anything. Puffer King found a locked door there. That's a very important locked door. Hopefully he makes a note of that, because later on he is going to want to head back through that door. Withheld has found the gate, which Withheld realized that if you transform, you could convince the gate guard. There it is. Withheld is going to make her way to the northern part of the shrine here, and is just a stone's throw away from the conference room. Oof, Withheld getting bullied. Goes ahead and loads the save file. I think Withheld still isn't, just doesn't realize that she has an item that allows her to recharge health anywhere. Not knowing that, it does make perfect sense to be cautious about taking too much damage, because the alternative is to put you in a dangerous state. Much easier to just reload than to have to wander all the way outside of the dungeon. So Nighty has teleported back to town, and I think this is his opportunity where he is going to do a little bit of shop-a-rooney. Oh yeah, he's going to buy this reflex armor, and this is going to be a big jump in defensive power for him. Skipping straight from the first armor in the game to the third best armor. And if he is fortunate, he will find the second best armor before completing today's goal, which will put him in a good position to boost his survivability. See, all of our players are around 40,000 experience points or higher. The highest level is achieved by getting 99,999 experience points. So we will see if our players continue to grind those up, because they are going to want that experience to be as high as possible for the final boss. The final boss is not a pushover in the least, and having some extra levels of experience will give them a big advantage in that final battle. And there is Withheld, killing some monsters, gaining a level, getting just a little bit stronger. Alright, we see Nighty is the first of our players who is going to pass through the gate here to the west side of the temple. And here we have a rare bit of dialogue from Adol. Adol is going to speak out loud. Now, someone entered this room and saw a treasure box, and it vanished. Now, it is very important that he gets this treasure box. And he does have the item he needs to get it. But will he realize it, given it's something pretty obscure? really wants that treasure box knows that they saw it. Oh, there it is. Pulls out the rod of light, and that makes the treasure box reappear, and they get the sacred cup. This is a very important item that they're going to need very soon. There, Knighty crosses the threshold, gains yet another level of experience. Just a little bit stronger, just a little bit faster, just a little bit tougher. And we see someone teleports back to Rant's village. That must have been an error. They really wanted Ramia village. There we go. Knighty pulls out his magic healing cape and is going to recharge a little bit of experience points here. Someone takes that grail back to town and talks to the old man. Sounds like he might be a little bit ahead of the game. He did recall that an NPC mentions that the old man in the house has a well in his basement. He might have thought, oh, that's the perfect thing to put in a cup, but the old man doesn't want anything to do with you. Looks like Withheld has found the healing cape. This is really good for Withheld. Knowing that, she can just sit off in a corner, she can snipe fireballs, and doesn't have a care in the world, because those hit points are just going up, 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 baby. So there is the magical cup. There is also a small hut that the players are looking for on the western side of the temple. Hopefully they find that. And something unpleasant is waiting for them, but it is an absolutely necessary bit of progression. Puffer King spots another locked door here. Hopefully he's making notes of where all of these locked doors have been. Knighty is killing lots of monsters, is catching up here with Puffer King. They're very close to tied in experience points. And it looks like now that Withheld has figured out that you can heal indefinitely, she's being a little more aggressive with the monsters, which is good, because Withheld needs to gain some experience points here. She's going to need all of those levels if she's going to stand a chance against the bosses that we're going to encounter. Oh, here Knighty found the room with the invisible chest. Pulls out that illusion mirror. Oh, here, Knighty figures it out. Pulls out the light rod, and that reveals the treasure box. And here is Puffer King finds the wizard, finds a wizard. And the wizard says not to go through this door or you'll be cursed. And Puffer King calls his bluff. And now Puffer is a hideous slime thing. The good news is Puffer figures out that you can pass through these little arches in the sewers. That was a little bit of a sticking point for me. I did not realize that you could do those, and I wasted some time. Or actually, I didn't waste that much time because that got me back onto the track of figuring out how to not be a slime anymore. We've got Ultros the Octopus here hanging out in the sewers. Ultros is pretty beefy. Here we go, Puffer King finally saving in a second save slot. We all feel much more relieved to see that. So in addition to the, I think there's like 7 screens of the above ground shrine that you can ultimately get access to. There's also 3 different sewer areas to explore. Although right now the players only have access to this one. And so we'll see as Puffer navigates through here and tries to figure out what is he looking for down here, where will he find it. And he may be a bit disappointed to find out that in his current state, he's really not going to get much done down here in the sewers. There it is. Puffer King gets pretty explicit instructions on how to return to human form. So that might save him a little bit of trouble, since now that he knows where he's supposed to go, he knows he needs to get the cup and go talk to some dude named Evan. Meanwhile, we see Nighty here is pulling ahead of Puffer King. Puffer King is still playing on slow, whereas Nighty is playing on fast. And so we see Nighty is starting to pull ahead in experience points. Nighty very nearly to the halfway point of that 99,000 experience point cap. Someone here talking to all these NPCs, and we're getting more Yeti advertisements here than a average GDQ stream. That's a lot of mentions of Yeti. And you're discovering there is a weakness here with your fireball. When you shoot that fireball, you can only have one on the screen. So as soon as that's out, you need to be running away from enemies until one of them, until your fireball runs off the screen so you can shoot a new one. Ooh, someone taking a death there, resetting their console? Oh, I think someone mashed buttons a little bit too quickly, and they did a soft reset. Which looks like it screws up their game. We've seen Puffer King has done this a couple of times. That you have to then reset the console in order to actually play the game. So Withheld really needs to find a good grind spot. You lose a lot of time here just killing random NPCs without much of a plan. But we already see here GFM commenting in the chat says that they're already lost in this dungeon. They're gonna start trying to draw this out on a sheet of paper. Good strategy. Here is Nighty versus the Evil Wizard. And Nighty is going to call his bluff and is going to try to head on through. And the wizard says, nope. You get to be a slime. Now the good news is Nighty already has one of the critical items that he needs. So if Nighty figures out how to get through this, get through the waterway, he will have the advantage that he can go straight back to town and figure it out. Oh, there it is. Nighty's getting a pretty explicit hint right there. Oh, I think Puffer King might be a little bit confused here and thinks back left means in the sewers, when he really needs to be going to the back left of the above ground part of the shrine. So Nighty gets eaten by Ultros. You don't mess with the octopus, kids. Here, Nighty assumes his true form, that of this little red-haired octopus slime thing. And here's a high five. We see Puffer King heading out of the sewers as Nighty heads on in. So it looks like Puffer King may know where to go now. Let's see if he manages to find that magic cup that he's been told about. So here, Withheld is a little bit stuck. Does not know about the secret password. Now this could be an issue for Withheld because Withheld might not realize that you have the earrings that let you hear any sound. Now, if she equips them and uses them, she might realize it, but that is going to be something that will be a little bit of a trick, since that was a critical item in the previous goal. Alright, Puffer's found the room. He knows there's a grail here. Alright, we're going to see if Puffer can solve the mystery next. Oh, there it is. Wand of Light gets the Sacred Cup. Looks like Puffer's going to teleport back to town. This will be his opportunity to resume human form. He's just got to go find the old man. Nope, that's not the right house there, Puffer. Here we go. We see Nighty's also turning in his magic cup. Oh, we see Nighty and Puffer King are neck and neck right now. Both have regained their human form. They should know at this point that they need to go to the underground waterway, and Puffer King, with the additional benefit here, realizes that he can teleport to the hideout. Does Nighty know it too? Yep, Nighty knows it too. So both players are going to be picking up their magic skeleton key any moment now.
Is that really you, Adolf? I never thought I'd see you again. Do you recognize me? I am Lilia from Rance Village. Not long ago, I was caught by some demons as they were rounding up people in our village. Soon after this, a demon named Keith came and saved me. He gave me this key. He told me that I would be able to open many locked doors with it.
You are a most helpful soul, aren't you, Adol? You have led me to the hideout of these rambunctious runaways. These people have learned all too much about this forsaken land, so of course I cannot permit them to live. However, I do have a rather big heart, and I am going to let you watch as I turn their bodies and souls to ice cold stone.
Remember, not just their bodies, their souls will be turned to stone. Alright, so now Withheld has made it to the conference room. Has the right idea. That's got to be a useful talent to put on your resume. Can do diabolical villain laughs on cue. It's just one of those things that we expect out of a good villain, even though nobody in real life ever does diabolical laughter. It's not really a thing. And Withheld dies to the very first monster she encounters. Meanwhile, Puffer King finds a locked door, taking the time to unlock these, and finds a new shield. The second best shield in the game, I believe. We could only wish we had also gotten Legacy of the Wizard with CD quality audio as well. But alas, we will just have to enjoy the NES release as the iconic version of Legacy of the Wizard. Now, he's also picking up an iron shield here. Giving Nighty a nice boost in his equipment. Looks like someone has found the evil wizard and has been transformed into a goon as well. Picking up another magic spell, the magic of Time Stop. Burns through magic points pretty quickly, but it does exactly what it says on the box. It stops all the enemies. Here's someone getting instructions on what to do about the transformation. Yet another surprise line here. We see Adol shouting, "Oh no, I've been transformed." See Puffer King also picking up the magic of Time Stop. It may be that both of these players did take the advice given to them and made notes on where they found locked doors, which will make their exploration far easier. There it is. Someone already had the Sacred Cup, so they will be able to transform back pretty quickly here. There it is. Someone is once again a human, and hopefully notice that they can just teleport straight back. There it is. Nighty finds the first boss of today's goal. Wonder if Nighty is using Turbo. Getting a lot of hits there, but unfortunately just a little bit too bulky to kill in one volley. Nicely done. Nighty jumping out before he gets hit too hard. Oop, took some damage there. A little bit ahead. He might be able to finish it off in one more go. Oh, he decides to take it a little bit safe there. Looks good. He's in a good spot. And there it is. Nighty defeats the first boss without too much trouble. It's going to give him a full health refill and, more importantly, a big chunk of experience points. Another level for Nighty. And there's two statues here, and they're going to give him a hint, but he's going to find that this actually is not any progression yet. That's it. With nothing here. Nighty's got to do some more exploration. In the meantime, I think Withheld is exploring the western part of the shrine here. Withheld has 2 things to find here. One needs to find the magical cup, and then 2 needs to find the underground waterway, and ideally find the escapee's hideout, which will give her the next bit of progression. Looks like someone has found the boss, but died pretty quickly there. Someone, I think, might be using some turbo there as well. Tore off half of the boss's health in a single volley, but died in the same time. That's not going to work. I like that strategy there, recognizing that the closer you are to the boss, the faster you're going to deal damage. Oops, someone runs away there. Looks like Withheld has found one of the locked doors here in the shrine. That is the door that contains the time magic, but without the magical any key, we won't be seeing Withheld passing through that door anytime soon. Not a lot of room to work with on this boss. There's not a big gap between the top and bottom of the screen. So it looks like someone is going to turn down the game speed to get a little bit more time to dodge. Doesn't seem to quite make a difference. So it looks like Nighty and Puffer King are back on the prowl. They do need to continue to explore the shrine and enter the locked doors that they found previously, but did not pass through. There are ultimately 3 different underground waterway sections that they need to explore. The one that I think that they need to explore now is the one that is in the far eastern side, up near the conference rooms, which Puffer King is getting really close to. And that will take them to a new section of sewers where they will hopefully be able to get their hands on a water gate key. Looks like someone might be taking a moment to grind out some levels instead, which is not a bad strategy. If they are to gain another experience level, I think the boss will turn pretty trivial. So here Withheld has found the treasure box that contains the Grail. Oh, wait. There it is. Withheld found the sacred cup pretty quickly there. And immediately decides to drink it, but unfortunately there is nothing in the cup to be drank. It seems that Solomon's Shrine is a bring your own booze type of place. Looks like Puffer King has found the next part of the shrine. The second underground waterway. He'll need to explore this pretty thoroughly because there is an important item to be found here. And he also sees that door. That's a pretty important door, but we will not be passing through it into Night Skull. We will see that next week when our players are ready for the final leg of their journey. Like someone pulling a little bit ahead of Nighty here has already found the next section of the waterway. And this is a very important NPC here. An absolutely critical NPC that the players will need to beat the game. But right now, he's been turned into a statue. So he's of no good. Puffer King decides to go ahead and leave him alone. That is absolutely the right decision to make right now. We won't be seeing that guy again until next week's goal. So we'll just have to keep him in mind. See, Withheld getting bullied here by the guards. Thankfully did save her game after picking up that grail. It would have been absolutely tragic if she had lost that and might have forgotten where to find it. Now, despite this being an important part of the waterway, I think the players might not be able to get any practice or get any progress in this section. There is one more section of waterway that the players are looking for. They'll get an important hint when they find it because they will meet a goon who will tell them that there is a runaway in the waterway. Oh, clever idea here. Nighty trying to feed the magical water to the statue, but unfortunately that holy water only cures transformation curses. It does not cure petrification curses. Someone taking a beating there. Someone is down to only 11 hit points. And he's marching right back on in. Oh, I see. I think he might have gained a level and now he's going to give another shot on this boss. He needs to be careful here. It takes a death to this Hydra creature running around in the sewers. It's another one of those challenges where you play the Falcom game and you try to guess what the creature is supposed to be based off of the bizarre and irrelevant sprite that they've decided to give to it. Someone getting a nice little hug from this giant laser spider. But in general, you don't want to hug laser spiders. Laser spiders are very unfriendly creatures. And just eats through someone's hit points. You do not want to be in that hitbox. That is the unhappy place. To quote Macaw, you get generated damage. That life meter just goes down as long as you're in that hitbox. There it is. Nighty finds the silver pendant. I think Puffer King may also have that silver pendant. If that's the case, then both players are ready to move to the next part of this dungeon. Sounds like, or it looks like Puffer has figured out exactly where it is he's going. He's making a beeline straight here to the central room. This is the room where they fought the boss that someone is fighting right now. Oh, actually, Puffer didn't kill this boss yet. Interesting. So this puts someone and Puffer sort of neck and neck. Although really Puffer is ahead right now because Puffer already has the necklace and someone does not. So Puffer might grind some monsters for another level. These guys are only worth about 15 experience points. This is the part of the game where you want to start really paying attention to who you're fighting. Since picking a good spot to grind will get you a lot more experience points. Someone having a little bit better run this time, but still taking way too much damage. Just getting spider-owned. We see Withheld wandering around trying to figure out what to do with this cup she found. There it is. Nighty uses the pendant to teleport through the statue to a new part of the dungeon with even more powerful monsters. Puffer King is traveling somewhere else. Be interesting to see where Puffer has decided to go. But a good strategy for him would be to find a place where the monsters are still worth a lot of experience points and grind them for a bit. These guys seem to be worth about 40 experience points. No, closer to 60 experience points. So this is not a bad spot for Puffer to grind. Keep killing these guys to gain another level, and he will be in an even better position to defeat the boss in the sewer. Is it a sewer or is it a waterway? Are they interchangeable, or is there a distinction there that matters? Withheld finds her way into the waterway, and also encounters Ultros, everybody's favorite octopus. Even more popular than the well-renowned Octodad. Alright. Someone appears to have defeated the boss. Oh, did someone have the pendant already? I must have missed that. Because this looks like they're in the next part of the shrine. Yeah, this is definitely the next part of the shrine. So at this point, it looks like someone and Nighty are both ahead of the game. Have pulled ahead of Puffer King, even. It's like Puffer's taking an opportunity to kill some monsters for some experience points. I think he's found an area that he wants to grind for a bit. These monsters are giving him a nice 60 experience points a pop, so he's going to pop those pinatas for the juicy experience points within. And he's found a nice grind spot here. He can just keep respawning this monster. Welcome, Turret, to our race of East 1 and 2 for the TurboGrafx 16. So where we stand right now, we've got someone and Nighty are in the lead. It's difficult to say who is further ahead. Both players are now in the back part of Solomon Shrine, and they are searching for the Watergate key that is hidden somewhere back here. Puffer King is next up. Puffer King has the silver pendant, but could not defeat the boss guarding the statues. So it looks like he's going to grind out another level of experience. He is, was that a level right there? He's either gained a level or he's 1,000 points away from a level. Either way, he's very close to gaining a level of experience so that he will be able to travel to the next part. We see Withheld is next up. Withheld has found the Holy Grail, which is important. When you have an opportunity to find the Holy Grail, it's always better for you to find the Holy Grail than to not find the Holy Grail. And is now giving a little bit of a lecture on how to transform back into a human, which hopefully she will take that advice, and that will put her just a little bit behind the others. Keeping pace for progression, but not necessarily for levels. We see that Withheld's experience points are lagging quite a bit behind our other players, particularly Nighty, who has found a very good grind spot here, and he's just going to take his time killing these soldiers for levels. Which will put him in a good spot for fighting the next boss, who is pretty tricky if you don't get your level up. We are only 2 sections away from finishing this game. We will be finishing up today's round with the next boss. We see Puffer King here has defeated the crab spider boss. There will be a wizard boss after that. That will be the end of today's goal. There will be 1 goal left. Next week we will see players fight the final battle against the ultimate final boss. That goal will probably be a little bit shorter. It's a little bit frustrating because it's a lot of grinding to get up to max level. So to sort of make it up to you folks, since you'll be watching a little bit of grinding in the next goal. We're going to add another little detail. Next week, we're going to be playing Worm for the NES. At the conclusion of the East race, we're just going to jump straight into a race of Worm for the NES. A short action-adventure game with a lot more plot that can actually fit into the game. That'll only take a single segment to complete. It's a short title. It's only about an hour to 2 hours long. So if you'll join us next week, we will have not only more East, but we'll also have a race of Worm for the NES, where we'll see our players try to descend into the bottom, to the center of the earth to fight evil kingdom of something or other with magic crystals and search for your lost boyfriend. And it's a game. It'll be definitely a lot of exciting lore to discuss that has nothing whatsoever to do with the action going on screen. So it looks like Puffer King has joined us here in the back part of the shrine. So this is an opportunity. These monsters here are pretty strong. They're worth a big chunk of experience points. So hopefully Puffer King keeps his eyes out for a good spot to do some grinding. We see Withheld has figured out to take the Holy Grail to town, is going to drink the magical healing water, and is going to be restored to her human form, and is now getting a little bit of a plot dump here from some NPCs. Oh, someone found Keith the Demon. That's a nice bit of progression there, but I don't think... Did he get the item out of Keith? He needed to get a key from Keith. Because Keith the Demon has got the key to the water gate. He has Key. Just another one of those punny names. Apparently the Watergate key is different than the Master Key. The Master Key unlocks absolutely everything in the shrine, except for the Watergate room for some reason. So we still need to find the Watergate key. This could be bad for someone if he left before getting the key there. He may have to hike all the way back to that back shrine, find Keith again, and get him to turn over that key. Here, Withheld discovers all of her friends have been turned into stone. The evil wizard not only has turned their bodies to stone, he informs you he's turned their souls into stone. That's how intense that this gets. But hopefully our players will find a way to eventually return them to normal. Nighty's talking to NPCs while in the guise of a demon, and the one demon says, I'm looking out for that madman Adol. I don't want to die. To which case, Nighty reveals his true form and then immediately murders the demon with a fireball, contrary to his wishes. That could be it. This game could be a prequel to Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, that all of these NPCs were turned into Pokemon. Here we see Puffer King has found Keith the Demon. Is he gonna get the key? Or is he going to be tricked? Is he gonna be tricked and head right back to town? Alright, Puffer King wisely talking to Keith, getting that sweet full audio, and is going to get a key as a reward. Oh, withheld. Doesn't want to get distracted there. These monsters hit pretty hard. Now he finds a brand new shield here. A battle shield, the second best shield in the game. Now he's taking a moment to observe his defensive power before and after. And here is Withheld taking her first shot at the boss here. And gets devoured, just gulped down by the spider boss. Now, Nighty here is at the spot that I like to run. These two guards in front of the door. You can walk left and right and respawn them, and that's a good way to get a lot of kills and experience really quick. And they're pretty high level, so that they're worth experience points quite a while. The Puffer King has his grubby little puffer hands on the Watergate key. Does he remember where the Watergate key goes? He may remember the first time he explored the sewers, he found a locked door that contained, that was marked with a water dragon. Perhaps he remembers. Yeah, he's heading to the Western Canal. I think he remembers that locked door, and he's put that together. So this will be good. This will be a nice chunk of progression for Puffer King. Although he is dramatically falling behind. He started today's race a couple thousand experience points ahead of everybody else. And here he is now. He's 9,000 experience points behind Nighty. Held getting devoured by the spider boss. Might need to gain another level or two. And here it is. Puffer King hits the button in this back room, receives some experience points, and there it is. We've drained all of the water. We see someone doing this at the same time. So someone and Puffer King now neck and neck. Although as noted before, they are way behind Nighty in experience points. And so they may wind up losing some time doing some grinding later on, or may gain some time because this will give them some opportunities to grind in places with even stronger monsters. Yep, so now we once again explore the canals, but now there's more canals to explore. But this is good for Puffer King and someone as they are getting close to the end of the goal. They now just need to explore the canals, and they need to find their way to the very back of the canals, and that will be where they will discover the passage to the next part of the dungeon, where they will find their next boss. Held may be taking advantage of that turbo on the controller. As we talked about it before, it is a turbo graphics, and so the controller has a turbo function mapped directly into it by default. So for turbo graphics races, you are perfectly able to use the turbo function as much as you want. Also, Puffer King picking up a suit of battle armor there. That battle armor will give him another boost to his defensive power that he'll want. Alright, we see Puffer expertly navigating out of the eastern waterway into the mid waterway. There's Keith just chilling.
I am Keith. I heard your voice when I was locked in the lava prison. I was spotted by a guard and chased, so I decided the safest thing to do was to hang out here until the coast was clear. If you want to get to the inner courtyard of the palace, then you must go through this water canal. I have the key to the water control room. Close the water gates and dam the canal. Then you can make your way up to the inner courtyard.
Speaking of inner courtyards, it looks like Puffer King is getting pretty close. Here's the goddess's castle. If Puffer King read the paste bin, he'll realize the goddess's castle is where he wants to be. Belatedly, Puffer King donning his armor. He's now carrying around 5 full suits of armor. Now these areas are a little bit tricky. These monsters have some sort of magic resistance, so that magic sometimes works on them and it sometimes doesn't work on them. Puffer needs to be careful or he'll take a death here. He's also playing with a lot of fire here. The saving your game in areas with monsters always is a risk, because you could wind up saving your game right on top of a spawn point for an enemy. Meanwhile, Withheld is still fighting this boss. She seems to be pretty confident that she can defeat the boss in her current state. Yeah, Puffer is really not taking good advantage of these 5 save files that he has. So here we see Puffer is grinding in this spot. This is pretty much the best grind spot in the game. So this is absolutely a good place to fight. In fact, he is going to probably catch up to Nighty very quickly here. In fact, the Galaxy Brain move might even be to grind up almost the level cap. That way he can maximize his benefit from the experience he gets from the boss enemies. I'm not sure if the boss experience is significantly reduced if you're at higher levels, but they tend to give you a couple thousand experience points. Yeah, and just like that, Puffer's catching right up to Nighty. It's right on the cusp of surpassing Nighty's level of experience. Meanwhile, looks like someone is still exploring the sewers here, trying to figure out where he is meant to go. Oop, there's Puffer King taking a death. But thankfully he saved in a safe spot. Also, it looks like his other save would have been safe. Looks like those monsters don't spawn in the corner. So that is a big, big relief. But I believe these are the most valuable monsters for experience points that you could find in the game. And this is also just a great grind spot because a bunch of them spawn and they're all very close to each other. There's Nighty flipping the switch, opening up the water gate. Here's someone coming up on the end of the sewer. So Puffer doesn't realize it, but he is standing not very far from the final boss of the goal. He might think that the boss is going to be in this very conspicuous temple behind him, but it really is not. That temple is just a little room where you can get a full heal, and you can get a little bit of guidance on where you're supposed to go next. There's Nighty picking up his battle armor. And here is someone, he's found the boss of the goal. But he's going to find it a lot more difficult than Puffer King does, since Puffer King's levels are way higher. Also, Puffer taking an absolute beating there. But he makes it out alive. He's going to restore his health. Extra levels are going to be an absolute boon to Puffer. I think he's going to find this next boss absolutely trivial as a result. King's just going to knock out a few more levels here. This is good strategy. He will not lose anything as a consequence of this, because he's now at the best grind spot in the game. So this is just the best place to be, and he's really going to want to be as close to level cap as he can for the final boss. There's Nighty did some exploring. He found a battle sword, so he now has the second best of all of the equipment in the game, only to be surpassed in next week's goal when he finds the best equipment. In the meantime, where is Withheld? So Withheld, I think, might be trying to gain some levels. I think Withheld spent a bunch of time fighting the boss. I don't think that she defeated it, or I would expect her experience to be much higher. I think this is Puffer King's favorite part of the game. He's found a perfect grind spot. He can grind up a bunch of levels here. keep in mind, we have withheld here with 48,000 experience points. Puffer King has 30,000 more experience points. It's just so much experience. Yes, that is correct. There are 2 bosses in the next goal. That this game is just about accumulating that experience so much faster than everybody else. So meanwhile, we see someone here is way lower in level than Puffer, trying to fight this boss. This boss is also very tricky because the way you fight this boss is you have to damage his little bats, and the bats don't show life meters, so you really don't get a good feel for how much damage you're doing. Puffer getting a little bit of instruction here that he needs to find a gold pendant. Looks like someone has turned down the speed to fight this boss a little more effectively. That's a very good strategy. But unfortunately, I think it's just a matter of raw levels here. That unfortunately, someone's levels are just so low. Yeah, we'll have a lot more action next week as our players wrap up the game, and as mentioned before, we'll also be playing Worm for the NES, so we'll have a fun double feature there to wrap up this segmented race. And then I think we'll wind up taking a break. We might have a week or 2 off before we jump into the next game, which will almost certainly be something for the Nintendo 64. But we'll see what that is when we get that far. Ooh, Puffer King has gone back into the sewers. This is a mistake. He did not search the Goddess Palace very well. Or maybe he came back here deliberately because he knew that there was a passage he didn't take. As he's picking up a new sword. Someone's making good progress on this fight. Just needs to be cautious about getting hit. The boss is pretty predictable. But if someone makes a mistake and lets one of these bats get in his hitbox, that's going to be the end of this poor adventurer. I also like this strategy here of focusing on one bat at a time. Some good dodges there, someone being very cautious about getting caught. And I think I said before, I like this strategy of focusing on one bat at a time because you can kill one bat. And this fight will get easier once someone manages, to get down to the end of the boss's life bar. Oh, that was so dangerous. Alright, there's only 3 bats left. The end of the fight is coming near. so much danger here. Someone threads the needle. It hurts so much when you miss one of those fireballs and then the enemy just keeps on going. Oh, that was so close. But he's doing it. Someone is doing it. There's 2 bats left. Can focus more on offense than dodging now. Missed the fireball there. Oh, that's one more. This is the last one. Stay focused, and there it is. Someone has defeated the boss. Much lower in level than the other players, but gets that victory here. There is the dot done from someone, completing today's race in first place with an SRO time of 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 59 seconds. An excellent performance there. Let's go ahead and pull up one of our other players. Let's see where Jackazam is. So Jackazam is making great progress here. Looks like Jackazam is already has drained the canals in the sewers. Gonna pick up that idol of Falcon. Withheld still trying to defeat this boss. I think Withheld is pretty far behind on the experience curve right now, but is seeming to do this. Seems to be whittling down the boss's health. He takes a couple of unfortunate hits there. Nicely done. Withheld's a little bit ahead of the boss in damage. Gets out of there without a hit. This might be it. This might be the time. One more cycle should do it. There we go. Withheld gets the kill on the spider boss. That's going to grant access to the deeper part of the shrine. Although I'm not sure if Withheld has the silver pendant. Without the silver pendant, that's going to still put her a little bit behind. Fighting monsters with the time stop magic. It's kind of effective, but it looks like monsters can still damage you even when frozen in time. Now, he doesn't like the look of that giant palace that says epic boss fight tonight. So instead he's going to pass through this door here and realize that no, actually this is where the boss fight is. So that was a little bit of a bad first attempt by Nighty, but he's picked up on the trick. Yep, that was a difficult fight. You fought that at a significantly lower level than we anticipated. So Puffer King continues to explore the sewers here. Puffer has found the goddess castle. However, he did not find the door to the belfry where the boss is located, so he's actually wandering other parts of the waterway, trying to figure out where it is he's supposed to go to finish today's goal. it's really difficult to make good use of the turbo, because if you miss a single fireball, you get stopped. So the turbo is not as helpful in this as it could be for other games. Taking that generator damage. Oh, just walking into the enemy's hitbox and being obliterated. Puffer King making his way back through the shrine, wondering if perhaps he has somehow missed where he's supposed to go. Yeah, there's part of the goddess castle that he didn't notice. Now, it's possible he didn't realize that he can walk around front of that door. The doorway he needs to go through is one of those ones that's right up against the railing that a rational human being would say, this doesn't look like a place I'm supposed to walk. At some point, perhaps Puffer will notice that the Goddess Castle has been added to his list of destinations, and that he can simply teleport back there, and that may be the hint that guides him to where he needs to be. Oh, Nighty's got a good strategy here. Oh, there it is. They're dwindling. Nighty's starting to feel confident that his boss is at the end. One more. He's almost got it. Easy as pie. Nighty takes down the boss, and he's going to get that dot done in here. And there is Nighty with the second place finish with an SRL time of 1 hour, 57 minutes, 0 seconds. Well done by Nighty. Let's go ahead and pull our last racer in. So it looks like GFM is a little bit behind some of the other racers here. Looks like he's still fighting the spider boss. These are the last 4 racers in today's goal. So it looks like GFM has successfully defeated the spider boss and is not certain what he's supposed to do. He just sees a couple of statues back there and he's like, what, WTF, mate? Now it's possible here, I think that GFM has been taking more time taking notes. So the good news may be that GFM might go a little bit faster here, that he has a better sense of where he's supposed to go thanks to writing things down. GFM, a regular mystery competitor in our weekly blinds, in the segmented races, in the mystery tournament. GFM also notable. He is a game developer, and he's in the rare stratum of players who has submitted games that he himself has created to Mystery Tournament, including a Metroidvania game that is a commercial product that he has developed. That he made a special build that made it more linear, so that it could be played in Mystery Tournament. So he definitely has some good sense of game design, having done it himself. But as we've seen, that doesn't necessarily translate into an automatic win when playing classic console games. So it looks like Puffer King is making his way through here. He's being very thorough, making sure to check everywhere in case he missed a turn. Maybe there was an important item that he couldn't find. He might be thinking that there's a gold pendant laying around somewhere he's supposed to grab. Meanwhile, it looks like Jackazam is coming up on the end of the waterway here. Jackazam sees a treasure box there, but wasn't certain how to get to it. Puffer King found something. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't see what he opened. All right, Jackazam is on a very good pace here to finish in third place. Ideally, Jackazam realizes the grind potential for this new area. Oof, Jack has just taken absolutely massive damage against this enemy. But has the healing cape, so is going to be A-okay. Just going to take a moment to recharge some health. There we go. Jackazam is going to kill the monster, pick up a battle sword, give a nice boost to offensive power. So notice that there's a big disparity in experience points here. We see Puffer King is well ahead of the other players. Puffer King found a good grind spot that he was happy with, and he knocked out several levels in extremely short order there. But unfortunately got a little bit lost here at the end. And that's it. He's explored everything back here. So his next question is going to be, well, if it wasn't there, where was it? Where am I supposed to go? You also notice that Puffer King is carrying a colossal pile of gold right now. 50,000 gold pieces. And he has nothing to spend it on. He's already bought a life drop, which he hasn't used. That's also another item that could be pretty handy, since the life drop is a rare healing item that could be used in a battle. So using that, Puffer may be able to make one of his fights a little bit easier. So GFM's next destination, he needs to head a little bit north of here. There is a locked door in the northeast corner of this area, very close to where he is right now. Passing through that doorway will take him to a new part of the sewers. And in that part of the sewers, you will find the silver pendant, except for he's going the wrong way. Oh, this is absolutely terrible for GFM. He's walking away from the place he needs to be. Withheld, on the other hand, seems to be moving in the right direction. Withheld just needs to head up the stairs, up to the top right. There is a door there that will take her to a locked door, which will take her to the sewers, which will take her to her next important destination. Puffer King scouring the sewers once again. Jakazan picked up the battle sword and then wandered away. I'm not sure what she's doing now. This is not the destination. She was right by the correct place and seemed to have wandered off. Maybe didn't notice the staircase. King taking a moment to chat with his boy Keith. He says, "What's up?" Keith is like, "What are you doing here?" Alright, so it looks like Withheld found the correct location. So Withheld has pulled a little bit ahead of GFM here. Needs to search through the sewer until she finds the silver pendant. Silver pendant being on the eastern side of this area. It's like Withheld taking the left-hand rule here. As long as you keep your hand on the left-hand wall, you'll be able to take all these twists and turns. And there it is. There's the treasure box. Withheld pops it open, and there is the silver pendant. So that is a critical piece of progression. Ooh, taken. Being brave there, not even saving the game. I would save the game as soon as I pick up any named item. Puffer's got a whole heap of experience points under his belt, but nothing to use them against. Still struggling to figure out where is the boss, which is a shame because Puffer was actually in a position to take the first place finish here. If only he had found the correct door, he could have finished this race first. But as it is, he's still in a good position to finish very early on today, as a couple of players are much farther behind him. Hopefully at some point here, Puffer just pulls out that wand of teleportation and takes it for a whirl. Back to the Goddess Palace, or he's actually just outside the Goddess Palace now. Hopefully he will step out here, take a look around, and find that door. Withheld finds a statuesque young man. Ooh, here it is. Puffer's so close. Does he see it? Oh, he sees the door. He passes through the door. There's the boss door. Oh, he's got to be relieved now, realizing, oh, thank God, it's where I'm supposed to be. Notice Puffer is taking barely any damage from these flying bats. His hit points are barely budging. Puffer, what are you doing? Puffer's just enjoying his massive defensive abilities here, I guess. Maybe he feels bad that he started off the fight wrong? I'm not sure. Is he gonna grind out another level here just so that he can defeat this boss even more decisively? Alright, well I guess Puffer's gonna grind some more. Apparently that boss wasn't trivial enough for him. He wants to have an absolutely decisive victory. Alright, so it looks like Puffer's going to knock out yet another experience level here. In the meantime, Jackazam has made it to the Goddess Castle. And it's going to take the turn right here to reach the boss room. I think Jackazam stepped through the door and realized, oh shit, that's a boss door. So it's like Jackazam might try to do a little bit of grinding, although these monsters are still pretty rough. Jackazam does need to be very cautious about this area. Although these monsters are worth big chunks of experience points, Jackazam will probably be getting 100 experience points per kill here. Which means gaining levels should go pretty darn fast. If she can survive long enough, having trouble just getting to the door. Let's see. In the meantime, where is GFM? GFM still needs to make his way up to the conference room because there is a locked door there that will lead to the sewers. And Withheld, I'm not certain. I think Withheld is in the main shrine? Is this the main shrine? Oh, Withheld took a death. We'll find out in a moment. Yep, alright. So Withheld has made it to the main shrine. So her next destination is to get to the... Oh, wait, no, she's heading back. Oh, you want to be in... Yeah, there we go. This is good for Withheld. She is now in a position where it's just fighting her way through to the end. Jackazam really close here to gaining yet another level. Withheld really wants this other statue to go somewhere, but it doesn't. Alright, Puffer King's more than halfway to the next experience level. At this point, it's just getting slower each time. Yeah, Puffer has done the whole thing without being on fast mode. So it's been a loss of just unnecessary time here by just being slow George. Jackazam taking a moment here to heal up before talking to the Goddesses of Ease. Nope, never mind. Jack doesn't care. Alright, GFM is on the exact opposite side of the palace that he needs to be, which is regretful. Needs to make his way to the far east. Unfortunately, he was there, he did the circuit, and he left. He didn't notice the one path he needed to take to progress. That could be one possible risk of mapping it out. If there is an error in GFM's map, he might have marked down nothing is in that corner when in fact there is a locked door that he absolutely needs to pass through. Alright, there is another experience level for Puffer. And notice that Puffer has capped out his hit points. He's got 2 more levels he can gain. Or more levels he can gain. No, this is not max level. Max level's at 99,000. For some reason, your hit points max out several levels, or 3 levels before you hit level cap. It's really not clear why that's a thing. So at this point, Puffer is dramatically overpowered for fighting this boss. This will be an absolutely trivial fight. He's in a perfect spot to finish 3rd place. Jackazam still needs to grind a couple of levels here. Jackazam's a little low on levels, I would say. There it is. Puffer gets the kill on the boss. He's going to refill his health. He's going to get some experience points for that. How many does he get? He gets a nice 4,000 experience points there. That's a big chunk of the way to the next level. You can save, Puffer. You're done. That's the goal. That was the goal. Did Puffer save? Puffer, you can save. You're done. What the hell is Puffer doing? Maybe he's conflicted? He doesn't know if that's the end of the goal? There. Saved his game. There's the dot done. Puffer King finishing in 3rd place with an SRL time of 2 hours, 16 minutes, 14 seconds. Well done. Puffer really wanted to be at 90,000 experience points, he says. He was really disappointed that he couldn't put it at 90,000 experience. But don't worry, he'll have an opportunity in next week's goal. So we have 3 racers left in today's race. We have Jackazam here is in the lead of our 3 remaining racers, standing right outside the door of the boss that needs to be defeated to finish today's goal. She knows what to do, but right now this boss is going to deal significantly, way more damage than... see there, that one hit is dealing more damage than Puffer gets by standing in a hitbox for a few seconds. But this one's doable. This is basically just a bullet hell boss. Then behind Jackazam we've got Withheld. Withheld has found her way to the main part of Solomon's Shrine and is fighting her way to the end. And then GFM is behind Withheld. GFM has the Master Key and can enter the part of it can enter the sewers in the northeastern corner of the shrine. Unfortunately, GFM either doesn't know there's a door there or has forgotten about it. Or wait, maybe GFM found it. Maybe I'm behind here and GFM found it while I was talking. But no, GFM would have to have gone through the sewers already. Yeah, GFM needs to go to the northeastern part of the shrine. There is yeah, okay. The northeastern part of the shrine has a locked door that he needs to pass through that will take him to a part of the sewers that has a pendant in a chest, and he desperately needs that pendant in order to make some progression. Another thing that would help Jackazam here is turning down the speed. Jackazam is playing on fast, and that's going to make this a lot harder because it's going to need a lot better reflexes to dodge these flying bats. Oh no, Jackazam accidentally passes through the doorway. Unfortunately, that means Jackazam is going to have to start the fight over. She just takes a death so that she can reload a save file. Yes, that's correct. Your strength is going to keep going up if you gain more levels. I'll spoiler it here because it's also going to be in the next week's pay spin. That you will benefit from being at max level against the final boss. Jackazam dodging outside of the room again. Withheld picking up the key to the water canal. This is a good piece of progression here. With this, Withheld can drain the water from the water canal and gain access to some new parts of the area. Some nice jukes here by Jackazam. Of course it's going to cap at 255. This is a classic game. Puffer, you're free to drop stream at any time, by the way. You don't have to leave your stream up for us. Jackazam is battling against the boss of today's goal. A bit of a struggle here. I think this is the lowest level we've seen yet. I think we saw second highest level. We saw the second lowest level was someone that their actual username being someone. Fought this at one level higher than Jackazam, which I'm kind of surprised. I think maybe 60,000 is the next level. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they were this level. But yeah, Jackazam could definitely stand to knock out another level of experience, especially with as much experience as monsters are going to be giving her right now, that it would be pretty quick to grind out another level. As we saw with Puffer King. Puffer King was able to knock out 4 levels in almost 15 minutes. Just a ridiculous, almost a ridiculous amount of experience. Puffer asks, is level 60 the max level, or is there more? Well, all you have to do is check your status screen for it to tell you how much experience you need, and you'll find out. Next week's pay spin will give a little bit of guidance as well on which levels you should be for the finale. Jackazam taking out one of these bats and another bat immediately spawning. I feel like this gets a little bit easier after you kill the first bat, because all the bats moving in unison makes it really difficult to dodge between them, whereas once they get broken up, it's a little bit easier. Oh, Jack Sam's going to try to use an herb. This is not going to work. Unfortunately, you can't use items in the middle of these fights. This round is not going well in Jakazam's favor. Already lost half of her health, and the boss still hasn't taken any damage. The revive drop will work in a boss fight, but other items will not. There it is. Withheld has opened up the control room for the water canal. She's bracing herself for what she'll find inside, and it's actually just some statues of dragons. Jakazam taking another death here. Meanwhile, Withheld, with the waterway drained, now has a lot more access. Previously, you had to use 3 different doorways to get into the waterways, but now that the water is drained, you can access any of the waterways directly from any of the other waterways. Oh, and here's some good progression by GFM. GFM has found the silver pendant. Does GFM know what to do with the silver pendant? Sam fighting for her life here against this boss. Ooh, gets a double kill there on the bats. Absolutely frame perfect input, since these bats do eat your projectiles. Unfortunately, they can also eat your player. GFM finds our little stoned lad here. He recalls a missing boy with a sword and goes to chat about it on his little seashell, but nothing happens. We'll see if our players can figure out what to do about a little petrified buddy here. In the meantime, GFM needs to be taking his silver necklace back to the center of the palace. There he goes. He's teleporting back to town. That's going to be the right way he wants to go. He's already defeated the crab boss, so he should be able to teleport straight to the main temple just as soon as he figures out what he's supposed to do. Oh, he's going to teleport back. He's going to nosh on his Rhodonut and then grab another freebie here. In the time that Jakazam has been fighting this boss, she would have been way ahead to grind out another level or 4 and have a much easier time of the battle. Which is kind of unfortunate here. Defeating a boss at a low level that should be the thing, the behavior that you want to reward. But in this game, all it does is it just means that you played harder than you needed to, and you're still going to have to grind the levels later. One game that I'm a fan of that I will never, ever make anybody race in a blind race because it's just excruciatingly aged is The Magic of Scheherazade for the NES. That game had a really interesting strategy that if you complete a chapter below the game's intended level, the game just gives you enough experience points to bump you up to the next level threshold. So if you figure out how to beat bosses at really low levels, the game just gives you a crap ton of experience points to catch you up to where you're supposed to be. But not Ease. Ease is just like, here, have just a pile of experience points, whatever. Oh god, Jackazam just hits the intersection of those 4 bats and instantaneously expires. Here comes Withheld. Withheld has found the doorway to the goddess's castle. Withheld is coming for Jackazam. Will Withheld make the critical decision here to grind up some experience? Because these monsters are excruciating. These monsters are devastatingly powerful right here. Where is GFM right now? I lost track of GFM a bit. I think this could be the... Yep, this is the main temple. GFM makes the bizarre choice here to go directly the correct direction and makes it to the second part of the main temple. Says, whoa, hold your horses there. Maybe I don't want to go that fast. Location feature. Here's Withheld in nearly the same boat here as Jackazam, fighting against the boss of today's goal. Oh yeah, that is nice of it to let you know which room you're in. Yeah. So, at this point, Withheld noting that she's really close to gaining a level. Just killing one of these enemies. There we go. So that's another level of experience for Withheld. But these monsters are given 100 experience points a pop. Oh, you wanna grind these things. Here we go. Looks like Withheld's found a really nice grind spot here. Just stand here, let the monsters come to her. So it looks like Withheld and Jackazam both going for style points here. They want to kill this boss at very low levels. Which, that feels like it should be the thing you want to do, but really there's no benefit for it. It's really optimal to just gain some levels. We can still see here Puffer King's game lingers on the stream. We see he's at 89,000 experience points. Everybody else is at 60,000. This is the end of the game where these last few levels come very fast, very furious. You have to think back to the early days when it was 50 experience points to gain a level. And now if you can find a monster that gives you 50 experience points, you thank your lucky star. You thank your lucky stars. Excuse me. Alright, looks like GFM is exploring the sewers here, trying to find Keith the demon. He's told Keith is somewhere in here, so he's got to feel confident that this is where he needs to be. He just needs to keep searching every path until he finds it. Looks like Withheld has decided to take a break here from throwing her face at this boss and is going to explore this goddess temple. There's nothing of value here, but hopefully Withheld decides to take some time and kill some monsters. With those monsters given 150 experience points a pop, it's, less than 30 monsters to gain a level. That's got to be tempting to just say, just give another level, just a little bit more. It just makes it that much easier.
I am Keith. I heard your voice when I was locked in the lava prison. I was spotted by a guard and chased, so I decided the safest thing to do was to hang out here until the coast was clear. If you want to get to the inner courtyard of the palace, then you must go through this water canal. I have the key to the water control room. Close the water gates and dam the canal. Then you can make your way up to the inner courtyard.
There we go. There's GFM picking up his Watergate key. Oh no, Jackazam was having a good run there and took a death. It's right back at it. I think at this point this is getting to the point where this is bad decision making. This is reaching a point where really you would, if you'd spent this time gaining levels, you would have been way ahead on time. So the next question is, does GFM remember the door that the Watergate key could go to? Ideally, he's been taking some notes. I remember classic East games where you could max your level, as opposed to modern East games, which that's not even a reasonable decision. Jackazam's also just shooting anything that comes in range, and I think that's kind of a bad strategy. I think Jackazam would benefit a little bit from focusing on one enemy at a time. Oh god, Withheld, watch out! Withheld got a little bit too cozy there. and some monsters came up, but thankfully she survived the onslaught, made it to safety, saved her game. Monsters are still given 120 experience points each. It's still a crazy amount of experience. So Withheld will be able to knock out another level of experience pretty easily there. It's a good opportunity to stand there, just keep hitting that fireball button. With your other hand, you can check your email to see if there's any new postings on the mystery/blind Discord. Maybe go check out a couple of itch.io submissions that you could submit to Mystery Tournament, the new Mystery Tournament event. Mystery Tournament 16 coming up later this year. Maybe put in a couple of suggestions on the blind Discord for what race you want to do next. We've got a couple of options coming up. We'll probably wind up after we finish East 1 and 2. We'll take a bit of a break and then we'll play something on the N64. I think our choices are either going to be, we'll play Ganbare Goemon for the Nintendo 64, an action platformer with a lot of resemblance to Ocarina of Time. Similar kind of search for the key, solve puzzle dungeons. Or we might play some Rocket Robot on Wheels, a Super Mario 64-esque collectathon set in a theme park, so it has a lot of fun level design. Looks like GFM is joining the rest of the crew in the Goddess Castle here, so I think we're getting really close here to seeing this race end. It looks like Withheld has decided, just let's grind out some levels. It's easy to do. It'll make my life so much easier. So really the question is just at what point does Withheld decide, yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to give it another shot. Jackazam still committing. Still committing to the to defeating the boss at this level. The enemies outside are big experience point pinatas, and Jackazam says nope. So I think Withheld has reached the point where the monsters are starting to be worth slightly less experience. Looks like they're finally cut down in half. So that may figure into her decision on when to stop, because suddenly the levels aren't coming as quickly. Each one takes twice as long as the one before it. But it looks like at least one more, at least to hit the next experience point cap, because why would you only grind half of a level? I think another thing that might help this game is if it had a bestiary, because that might give players a better feel for where they are as far as killing monsters. You know, if you're playing a game and you got a bestiary and you notice, oh shoot, that's the last entry, you realize, okay, yeah, this is the point where I start grinding. Alright, there's Withheld. Knocked out another level there. I think that might be it. I think she might be ready now to take on the boss. And notice that it's significantly easier than it was the first time. Some of it, though, I think it may be just a practical... it may be a decision by the players that they may understand completely that this is not optimal behavior. At this point, it's a sunk cost, and they know entirely that they should grind more levels. But now they're doing it for fun. I mean, the first, second, and third place are already taken, so it's not like there's a first place finish and they're in it for them. At this point, they're just doing it for fun to prove that they can defeat it. Because, you know, it's not entirely that fun to fight a boss that's trivially easy. So while I will say from a standpoint of beating the game, this is not the strategy. From a standpoint of entertaining us, yeah, beat the boss at a really low level. That's, you know, that's a way to amuse people. So yeah, Withheld is in a position now where walking over these enemies, this doesn't really hurt. Still got to be careful. Her health is getting low here, but she's really close to finishing the fight. Also keeps missing. These enemies are hard to hit. There it is. There is the finish. Withheld hits the dot done and is finished 4th place with an SRO time of 2 hours, 45 minutes, 47 seconds. Congratulations to Withheld for having completed today's goal. And to remind everybody, Withheld missed the previous 2 segments. So Withheld actually is playing off of a borrowed save file and has no context for where they are right now. So that's even better for Withheld in that they just sort of made it up as they went along, tried to figure out what was going on. Just imagine picking up a game that you hadn't played for several months, not knowing where you are, and then multiply that by the fact that, no, you didn't actually play it at all. You were simply playing off of somebody else's save file. I once purchased a copy of Bravely Default used, and it had a save file on it that was level 99. And there was some little part of me was really tempted to say, maybe I want to play that save file. Maybe I want to see what's going on. I want to see what happened to those people. I wanted to see what goes on. But some part of it just felt like maybe bad luck to do that. I don't know. I did do that with Etrian Odyssey. I bought several of those games used, and I really wanted to see what classes did they pick. What did they name their characters? I had to see that. Although I think I bought like 3 of those games used, and every single one of them, the characters were all like level 2, and they had really generic names. They were just like Frank and Susan. And they'd explored, like, they'd killed 2 enemies in their bestiary, which meant that they had barely walked in. I mean, I'm kind of scared about that save file on Bravely Default, because it was, like, Chapter 1 with level 99, and I'm thinking that's really high level to be on Chapter 1. Looks like Jackazam may be using the turbo now, maybe making that a decision. Thank you, Withheld, for the raid. Congratulations on your performance in today's race. The decision to grind a few levels at the end definitely paid off. And as a reminder, this is the second to last part of today's segment. This is the second to last segment in the East 1 and 2 blind segmented race. We do have one more segment to come. That segment will be played next Sunday That is March 23rd, or May 23rd. We're going to play the final segment we're going to play the final segment of the game, which will consist mostly of a grind fest and a boss rush, and a couple of NPC dialogues, and we will wrap up. So hopefully that will actually go kind of quickly. Oh, look at Jackazam. Jackazam has finally fallen to the dark side, gotten that turbo controller hooked up, and what a difference it is making. Look at all this damage that is just flying out. So we will plan to finish East 1 and 2 next Sunday on May 23rd. And then we will be wrapping that up. We will also have another treat. Next week's goal should hopefully be pretty short. It should be just a quick 2-hour jaunt through the final battle. The final boss is not a pushover, but we hopefully will finish things up pretty quickly, because next week I also want to do a special treat for everybody. In addition to the East race, we will be jumping immediately afterwards into a race of Worm for the NES. That is a platformer action sort of, I'd say RPG, but it really isn't. It's one of those old school games where they coded up like 4 really simple game engines, and then they just slapped them together in a bunch of sequential levels and filled in cutscenes in between. So we'll get an absolutely ridiculous plot. We're going to see some kind of janky action going on as we pilot a flying tank to the center of the Earth. There's going to be some puzzle levels where we're going to watch players talk to NPCs and try to figure out what they're supposed to be doing. But that should be a pretty fast and fun race. I anticipate it should take everybody an hour to an hour and a half to beat that game. It's a very short game. It's not challenging at all. You get a checkpoint basically every room you go through, so there's going to be very little repetition. So hopefully you folks will join us next week when we play through the finale of East and we play through Worm. And then, as said before, we'll be doing some N64 action in the next blind segmented race, but that won't be in May. We'll be taking at least 1 week off. I might even take 2 weeks off before we jump into that. So if one of those games interests you, either Rocket Robot on Wheels or Goemon for the N64, then make sure you mention that in the Discord so we can decide which one to play. Next week, basically just the final boss, pretty much. But it's going to take a while. The final boss is absolutely not a pushover. So it looks like Jackazam has turned down the speed here. That's a good strategy. And is using the turbo controller. That's going to help do a lot of damage. Oh god, that was awful. Just took just a ton of damage there. Oh no, Jackazam takes a death there. Just jumps right on back in though. Both of these players are dedicated to winning in hard mode. Doing a lot of damage there. Jackazam might be starting to think, do I really want to do this again, or am I going to grind it out? Nope, Jackazam goes right back in, doesn't even try to go the other way. Wait, do I have them mixed up? No. Let me double check. Yes, GFM. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm saying the wrong names, but the layout is right. The layout is correct. I'm saying it wrong. It was GFM I was looking at. Yep, I'm mixing them up. The layout is correct. So GFM is the one who's doing the turbo in this one. And it's working really well. And Jackazam is the one who's just throwing at it. So, okay, I've had this mixed up the whole time. I apologize for that, folks. This is what happens when you change the player orientation and you forget that you swapped one of them from left to right. Yeah, Jackazam is not using turbo. Oh god, GFM is really close. That's it, GFM was cornered. But yeah, GFM using turbo is really, really helping him. As we mentioned before, this is one of those things where this is absolutely not the optimal way to play. They would absolutely benefit from knocking out a couple of levels of experience. Not just because it'll make this boss easier, but also because they're going to absolutely need that. There's no way they're gonna beat the final boss of the game at low levels. But some of this may be a matter of pride, that they really want to show off that they can defeat this boss under less than ideal conditions. So we'll cheer them on for that they want to give you folks a show here on a Sunday night. There's also, of course, the fact that the biggest thing is that this boss is going to give 5,000 experience points regardless of what level you fight it at. So grinding your levels out now is better, because those 5,000 experience points going to a high level is way more valuable than it going to a low level. In fact, it would be a bad idea to just grind up to the second to last level of experience. That way you can just put those 5,000 experience points to the last level. I'm also not certain what armor they're using. Pretty sure Jackazam found the battle armor. The battle armor is pretty hard to miss because it's right on your path when you're going through the waterway. But if one of these players doesn't have an upgraded suit of armor, that could also be pretty nasty. Jackazam's having a pretty good time of this fight. Has made it through the first round of bats and takes a horrific death. That was definitely my fault. I definitely caused that death. GFM getting pretty good at this first cycle of the bats. Yeah, the real strategy here that for some reason none of the players have picked up on is you really just want to be constantly rolling through the enemy so that you get your iframes from the roll animation, and then just hope that nobody invades you while you're exploring. Having to fight a black phantom while you're fighting the boss, that's no way to go. I think another issue for our players here is that they've spent a lot of time on this first phase of the fight when you have the 4 bats moving in a predictable pattern. And so as a consequence of that, it gets really hard during the later phases when you don't have that predictability anymore. Another death there for GFM. We're hitting that 3-hour mark. The grinding in this game, despite its appeal as a sort of an old school game, really not that bad. Even the last levels that drag on the longest, they're not nearly so bad. Contrast that with something like playing E7 and trying to grind up all of your skills so that you can get that achievement. That's a grind. That's a grind. Playing a Dragon Quest game and trying to hunt for all of those metal slimes. Oh my god. Dragon Quest 9 metal slime grinding. That's a grind. This is baby grind. This is little baby early JRPG gamer grind. Yeah, definitely. If they're complaining about this, yeah, that's a different thing entirely. But I'm pretty sure this is, at this point, it's a deliberate decision of I want to beat this at a low level. This is Kingdom Hearts critical mode, no experience mode. Oh, here we go. GFM saying, oh wait, no more bats spawned. It's looking good for GFM. 2 bats to go. Last bat. Just gotta be cautious, but this should be easy. There it is. GFM gets the kill. Has defeated the boss. Gonna get a nice full health refill there. Get that juicy 5,000 experience points. Save the game. Done. That's an SRL time of 3 hours, 3 minutes, 25 seconds. Very well done by GFM. Let's see. I don't think Jackazam has clean audio. Yeah, unfortunately, Jackazam does not have clean audio, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit a little bit of Rainwave here. So well done by GFM, finishing up today's race. Finish flag there. So we've just got Jackazam here. As noted before, Jackazam is dedicated to finishing this at this experience level. It's possible. She knows it's possible. You just gotta dodge. You just gotta duck and weave. Just gotta float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The legendary guidance of Muhammad Ali, which also could be just pretty much a perfect description of a jellyfish. So really the rule is just be a jellyfish, and you can fight like Muhammad Ali. I like the strategy here of Jakazam focusing on one bat at a time. I don't know if Jakazam knows it, but once you get down to the end of the boss's life meter, those last few bats will not respawn. So once you manage to get it down to only 3 bats remaining, the fight just gets much, much easier to do. I think Jakazam's pretty much got this first phase down to a science, because these bats move in a pretty predictable pattern. So you just dodge and get your shots where you can. But yeah, as we noticed, Jakazam is playing on fast speed and not slow speed, so that's going to make it a little bit tougher to dodge. Also not using turbo. As we saw on GFM's stream, turbo is really good if you can line it up. It's not an easy win button, but if you use it in the right place and time, it definitely gives you a big advantage, because you can just get behind one of these bats and you can just load it full of fireballs. You can make it eat a fireball buffet. It's an all-you-can-eat extravaganza of flames. Just tastes like burning all the way down until the boss is dead. Alright, looks like Jakazam's kind of gotten comfortable with this pattern, and then kills one of the bats, and then suddenly it's a new pattern. Oh, Jakazam just isn't quite ready for that low horizontal bat. Those are the ones that really hurt you, the bats that have more horizontal velocity than vertical, because they're the hardest to dodge. Because you can't be guaranteed you can run under them. Looks like Jakazam's just going to abort that attempt. Yeah, playing through this game has been fun. I've been playing through this to set up the goals for each week, and it's kind of got me jonesing for picking up Ys 8, which is the next one I need to play. So I'm kind of looking forward to, once I catch up on a couple of the other games I'm playing, getting to that. Still need to wrap up. I've been playing Tales of Legendia for the PlayStation 2. Need to wrap that one up. Kind of an average game, although the characters are fun. I've also been playing Yoshi's Crafted Story for the Switch. That's been fun. Very visually attractive, but fairly simple gameplay. Once I knock those out, get some Ys 8 Nightmare difficulty. course, I do need to probably play through whatever game we pick next. I need to make sure that I have some goals set up. We've also got a number of other events going on here on Mystery Funhouse. In addition to these weekly blinds, which we do each Sunday, we have other events going on. We have our weekly blind each Saturday at about 2 p.m. EST. Yesterday, the weekly blind was the fifth element for the PlayStation. Yes, we've already picked the next segmented race. It's one of two games. I've just got to decide which one it is. So I have to play through whichever one it winds up being. Yesterday we had our weekly blind. We played the fifth element for the PlayStation 1, a game recommended by Jal, another one of our mystery regulars. Oh no, we're not going to be playing Ys 3 yet. I would be up for Ys 3, but we'll probably have a palate cleanser in between, because that's another very grindy game. So we had Fifth Element as our weekly blind on the PlayStation 1, and we also have Mystery, which we do each week. This week's Mystery was bass fishing, so everybody competed to see who could catch the biggest fish. And Mystery will be back next week at 7 p.m. Eastern, run by Internet Dirigible. It is a high-score competition game, which sees some very different games than you would normally see in Mystery Tournament. Oh, come on, Jackazam, be careful. Oh no! That was Jackazam's best attempt yet. That could have done it, but just dropped it at the end. If we did Ys 3, I would push Wanderers from Ys, but I would leave it up to the players. I haven't played Oath and Filgaia. I've only played the original versions of Ys. I think this is the closest I've come to playing an Ys remake. I also haven't played Ys Origin, which I think is sort of isn't that like an Ys 0, like an Ys prequel? I haven't played that one either. Might have to play that one. But we'll see. I think that's a little bit out. We need to focus on figuring out what the next weekly blind is. So if you have any strong opinions about what we play next, feel free to join our Discord. We always have exciting stuff going on there. We have a number of players who play other races. Jackazam, for example, has been playing Majora's Mask blind with Exuno. Majora's Mask being a game that we probably won't do as a segmented blind because its structure really is not well suited to a race format. The way you would race it would be to skip all the content, which just is not the fun way to play Majora's Mask. We have players coming up with other things they want to do all the time. I think today Boney made fun of Alpha 5, and so as a consequence, Alpha 5 did a race of Pilot Wings for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, Majora's Mask is in a way, it's a lot like Breath of the Wild. It's a lot like Breath of the Wild, where, you know, the main story is a pretty trivial amount of the content, and that the game really is the side quests. The side quests are the game. That was a close call there for Jackazam, but made that through unscathed. Oh god, that was bad. It falls apart so quickly, because you could take, like, I think maybe Jakazam can take 10 hits, and a lot of times one hit is just instantly 2 hits. I don't know if it's unreasonably huge. I think part of the issue is that when you're dealing, 1 point of damage to a boss, and then you gain a level and you deal 2 points of damage, that's a big deal. Another game that has that sort of an issue, Terranigma, which we actually blind raced on this very channel. So if you check our VODs, I think you can watch the VODs of the Terranigma race. I think that was maybe more extreme than these, in that a lot of times it would be you deal 2 points of damage to a boss until you just hit some arbitrary threshold, and then suddenly you're doing 20 damage to the boss. Whereas this one seems to almost have a pretty reasonable build up to it, where the recognition is that you're too low a level and that you slowly come into the reasonable level. And then Terranigma has the most obnoxious mechanic, where the final boss, when you hit the level threshold for the first phase, the second phase has a different level threshold, so you can be high enough level for the first phase and then realize that you still have to grind one out before you can fight the second phase. That's game design for you. So Jakazam's almost done with the first set of bats. I think that's one more original bat, OG bat, remaining. We're getting a good start here. All right. Yeah, there's some games that have very lopsided damage and defense algorithms. I mean, you play some games like your typical Final Fantasy game, and mostly it focuses on just the enemies get more health and offensive power, and that rather than you ever being too low level to do anything, it's more of just at some levels that it's just too lopsided that it makes it more difficult, but it's always kind of possible. There was another game I played recently. It was, I think it was Arabian Nights for the Super Nintendo, not to be confused with Arabian Nights for the PC, which Goose will be playing at Games Done Quick this year. That game was one of those where if you were low level, monsters just obliterated you. They just hit you and deal massive damage. And as you gained levels, just the formula eventually reached a point where nothing could damage you, because everything would just deal 1 hit point of damage all the time. Which, I mean, I guess it's kind of fun on one hand, because you become godlike, and then you don't have to worry about combat because it's just trivial. But then on the other hand, it's kind of like it's trivial, and it's just you get the problem with it being trivial. Yeah, you have like the original, I think it was the first 2 Dragon Quest games. The formula for defense was such that like people recognize metal slimes are super defensive. You don't deal more than 1 hit point of damage. But I seem to recall in the first 2 Dragon Quest games, you could gain enough levels to the point where you could break the defense of a metal slime, and you could, in fact, just like 1-hit kill a metal slime. And it feels really weird hitting a metal slime and doing like more than 1 hit point of damage. That just feels really bizarre. So at this point, it's absolutely just pride here that Jakazam is going to demonstrate that she can defeat this at this level. I mean, in a way, it was reasonable anyways. That there's nothing, like, it's not really any reason why you needed it to have special characteristics. Just having really high defense you could break is kind of neat. And there's also some fun involved in there, that actually being able to do that much damage, it really feels good that you realize you've gained that much strength. Jakazam had a nice easy pattern there. But then killed 2 of the bats, and that kind of threw everything off. How it's every one of those times, everything just comes right at you, and you don't know where to run. Jakazam just taking the death there. Until you play Dragon Quest 11, and then suddenly they give you an ability that's a guaranteed crit every time, and then it's like, oh, well, even though there is a skill called Metal Killer, nobody's going to use that on a Metal Slime anymore. Yeah, definitely. Dragon Quest is a game that really emphasizes they have established mechanics and that they're working within those mechanics, as opposed to Final Fantasy that decides they make it up as they go along every game. Oh, Jakazam got caught at the intersection of the bats. That was brutal. Just drain that health meter instantaneously. I wonder if we'll see a point where Jakazam decides to just get one more experience level. So at a certain point, you start to get tired. Lunchtime is coming around. Family says, hey, why haven't you eaten dinner with us yet? Got a big plate of big food to eat. Yeah, and there's a couple of things that Jakazam could do. Turning down the speed from fast to slow, that would be a big deal. That would, ironically, would speed things up quite a bit. Being able to dodge and get those shots off more accurately. Using turbo would help too. We saw GFM getting really good work out of that turbo button, running behind one of these bats and just filling it full of fireballs. I say I'm going to try switching equipment here. I'm pretty sure this doesn't do anything. That ring just has no effect. But maybe it helps Jackazam's peace of mind. Maybe it's one of those meta items. Alright, not doing too bad so far. Star Ocean was a series I never quite understood. I think I played through the original Super Nintendo Star Ocean on a translation patch, and I can't remember anything about it. And I know I played a Star Ocean game on the PlayStation, because my friend was like, this is the most amazing game ever, because it's like Dungeons and Dragons where you can put points in cooking, and so I put points in cooking. I'm like, I don't get it. It's not doing it for me. But trying to play some more PlayStation 2 RPGs. I played Tales of Fantasia, that's a good one. Played Tales of Destiny 1 and 2 for the PlayStation. That is, the games that were released in the US as Tales of Destiny 1 and 2. I saw some of the Dot Hack games at a Dot Hack marathon. That's another one that it was sort of like, I could see this being fun. I haven't played it, but I could see there being some fun to the sort of the MMO mimicking mechanics, where there's sort of a meta to the grinding. I played through Kingdom Hearts 3, and I didn't skip any cutscenes, but when I was done, I wish I had. Because I didn't get anything. It was clearly a game about, if you haven't been following the fandom the whole way through, it wasn't for you. Yeah, it's one of those things that I'm not certain if there was a charge there. All right, Jackazam says I have to take a break for dinner, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end this broadcast then, because I'm not gonna sit here and make you guys endure a dinner break. But well done on Jackazam for pushing it out, setting a goal, and dedicating herself to finishing that. Who else do we have that we can raid today? Let's see. We've got, let's go ahead and let's raid. Oh, it looks like Kusa Grande is just starting, so let's go ahead and let's raid Brosentia. They are playing Fantastic Four for something. So we're gonna go ahead and raid Brosentia, playing the Cuso Grande Bad Game Tournament. So thank you everybody for joining us today for this blind segmented playthrough of East 1 and 2. We will return next Sunday for the finale. We'll also be playing Worm for the NES. That will be after we finish East. So you'll get 2 games in one. Definitely be there for that. We've also got our weekly blinds every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I don't think a game was drawn this week, but there'll probably be something played, so keep an eye out. And then next week's edition of Mystery, the High Score competition, will be at 7 p.m. EST, run by Internet Dirigible, so make sure you join us for those on Saturday. And of course, keep an eye out for other events. I appreciate everybody joining us today, and I hope that you'll see us here again on Mystery Funhouse. It's always a mystery what game we'll play, but we'll figure it out together. Thank you, have a good Sunday night, and we'll see you again next time here on Mystery Funhouse.